Good morning again, Green Spring. I'm Gray Parks, your host for Village in Motion, and today we have Donna Epps from Garden Ridge, and later on we'll be talking about the Poetry Club. So Donna, welcome. Thank you for coming over this morning.
Well, thank you for having me again.
Donna is the, let's see, you're administrator of the Garden Ridge? Or?
I am the continuing care director, yes.
Continuing care director. So we don't tie Garden Ridge into the title, just continuing care director.
Well, it can be of Garden Ridge as well.
Okay.
But in Garden Ridge, as you know, we have different levels of care. So we have our skilled nursing, which includes our long-term care and our post-acute short-stay residents. Then we also have assisted living and memory care, all within
yeah, and rehab.
Continuing care, right. And the rehab is for our short-stay post-acute, but also under Medicare Part B, we provide rehab services to residents who aren't there for a post-acute stay, and we also have the outpatient rehab under that same umbrella. Yeah. And we do outpatient rehab in Garden Ridge as well as over in Hunter's Crossing.
The reason I'm here is outpatient rehab.
Oh, good.
That's right. My wife had a problem in July of '09, and we were able to get her into the rehab there, and I came into Garden Ridge, or Green Spring, a few months later.
Well, very good.
About two weeks before she passed away. But
oh,
anyway,
wow.
So I'm familiar with the outpatient rehab.
Yes.
And the rehab on the second floor of Evergreen, right?
Yes, and actually that speaks to our continuum of care across campus very well. Oh. Because not only do we coordinate within Garden Ridge, as you know, we also coordinate with the other services on campus. So if somebody, for example, goes to the hospital and they come to Garden Ridge for a short stay rehab and then they go home, they can go home with certified home health, which can include rehab services in their apartment, and if they still need rehabilitative services after they discharge from home health, then they can be referred to outpatient rehab as well, and that can be done in Hunter's Crossing as well as in Garden Ridge.
And that's down on the floor of the conference center. It's a place that we just don't see. It's tucked around the corner.
Yes, it is.
That's right.
Yes, it is.
Okay. And that's a nice little facility there because they can do a lot of things, right?
Yes, they can.
Yeah.
Because they offer the same services, physical therapy, occupational therapy, as well as speech language pathology.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, what else is going on in Garden Ridge?
Well, just like with many of the other areas on campus, Garden Ridge is getting ready for its next big repositioning project.
I thought the building of the wing was the repositioning of the Garden Ridge.
Well, that was only part of it because as you know, we also have Rose Court and Evergreen as well as the clubhouse first and second floor. So the plan is to give the similar look and feel to the rest of Garden Ridge as well. So we've already started some of our own enabling projects. Okay. So starting in mid-June, they will begin on the Rose Court side of Garden Ridge on one hallway, the same hallway on each of 3 floors. Oh. So on Rose Court 2, 3, and 4, we have already moved residents to temporary rooms in other existing parts of the building, and they will come in mid-June and start the demolition, and some rooms will be made into larger rooms. So we have some 3 apartments will be made into 2 apartments, and so rooms will either get a very significant refresh or either a complete renovation. I think one of the biggest things is that each room will have its own bathroom as well, and so they do this project in phases. And so once the Rose Court hallway that we're currently working on finishes, we will move residents back, and then we'll start on the next series of hallways.
Now you talked about the same wing. So a wing is just one of those hallways that so you're going to do it in a stack, is that?
Yes, absolutely.
So you have 4, 3, and 2.
Right.
And all the 4 and 3 I know are skilled nursing is 2 also skilled nursing, or is that assisted living?
2 is assisted living.
Okay. So, but you, and 1, what's on 1?
Assisted living as well.
But you're not doing 1 at the same time?
Well, some of those rooms will get a refresh as well, but the biggest demolition will occur on 2, 3, and 4. And then once those rooms are done, residents will move back and they'll start on the next stack of rooms.
Okay.
I'm not an architect or a builder, but the way they explained it to me is because of how the plumbing and the electrical work has to be done.
That makes sense, because you know, you try to do the plumbing, and especially the plumbing in a vertical, so that you don't have the pipes going all over the place. Horizontal pipes are not very good for plumbing. You want it vertical.
Exactly. And so the other big piece of the project, of course, we're doing Rose Court and Evergreen as well, is what we call the clubhouse on the 1st and 2nd floors. So the administrative offices, the meeting room, the admissions office, the business office, the employee health and wellness center, human resources, our volunteer coordinator office will all be redone. And so some of us will be, shuffled to temporary spaces, and the first clubhouse area is slated to start in September of this year.
So that'll be a big thing too. We have a lot of stuff going on campus on repositioning.
We do, and still we are providing the same level of services, the programming and activities that we do. So we're just trying to figure out where things are going to occur on a temporary as well as on a permanent basis.
That's not easy, and it takes a lot of planning to do that well.
It does, but we have a great team at Garden Ridge. We have a project manager, Greg Porter, who's working directly with our vendor that we contracted with. We have 2 assistant administrators.
Is that the same contractor that built Dogwood Commons?
No, it's a different contractor, because that contract was put out to bid, and then of course our corporate partners as well as the community partners got together and selected the best vendor for this particular project.
They're 2 entirely different projects. You can see
the Dogwood Commons and the current project, but of course, once it's all said and done, it will be a very similar look and feel throughout Garden Ridge.
Well, Dogwood Commons is certainly a modern and open and sort of fresh looking.
Yes.
And if people haven't seen it, I really would encourage them to take an opportunity to go over and look at some of the areas that they can see in Dogwood Commons. I mean, we've had several opportunities for tours, and I'm sure that there are a few people who still haven't seen it.
But and they can contact our admissions office, and we would be glad to take them on a tour.
Oh, good.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, what else do we have to talk about?
Well, I think one of the things about Garden Ridge, people sometimes tend to think, and I get comments about, well, what do you do besides play bingo? So we just finished a great series of activities over the last 2 weeks, where we celebrated all of our nursing staff week before last, and then we also had our skilled services week last week, and that culminated in a wonderful event. We had a big luxury motor coach on campus that took many of our residents to Sandy Point Beach. And I wish I had pictures, but I don't right now. But that was just a wonderful event, because that's something that people feel like once you're in a facility, you don't get a chance to really go out and do some of the things that you may have done earlier in your life. But we had wonderful staff, volunteers who accompanied the residents. They had a wonderful cookout or picnic lunch on the beach. We had a few residents who actually got into the water and just engaged with some of the other visitors who happened to be there as well. Last week we also had a terrific fashion show. We had a wonderful cookout in the courtyard, and if you haven't seen the courtyard, it's really something to see. We have a wonderful fountain and just a nice open area, and
Yes.
we've had some of the residents help to decorate the tables with some live plants out there, and it's just a nice place to just be and visit. And you don't have to be a Garden Ridge resident to come over and enjoy our courtyard.
Well, I've noted a lot of events at Garden Ridge. The Easter egg hunt, for example.
Yes.
And the employees. Well, that wasn't all Garden Ridge, I guess. The bringing the kids to work.
Right.
But the Garden Ridge participated in a lot of that.
Yes, actually we did. That Bring Your Kids to Work Day event actually started at Garden Ridge and ended at Garden Ridge. And we had so many, not just staff volunteers, but resident volunteers, some of who hung out with the kids all day long. And that was such a successful event. Many of the kids that I talked to wanted us to do it monthly. So I think it's safe to say that we will do that again next year. But they came over to Garden Ridge and interacted with the staff and with the residents, and they had a really great time.
Yeah, I participated in that, and I thought they were
sure did.
The kids really did have a good time.
Yep.
Well, Donna, thank you very much. Is there anything else that you want to speak about on Garden Ridge?
No, just come over and visit us anytime. You're always welcome. We are very busy at Garden Ridge all the time.
And if you have a friend who's in Garden Ridge temporarily, especially, come over and visit, right? Yes,
we encourage visits of all of our residents, whether they're there for a short time for a rehab stay, or whether they have transitioned to Garden Ridge into their next level of care. We always welcome our visitors.
Well, thank you very much for
Why, thank you.